The internet is on fire. A single 90-second video has turned one of Atlanta's most powerful friendships into its most explosive scandal. In the shaky, grainy clip, Tiny Harris can be seen shouting, her voice cracking with fury, while people around her scream. There's movement, a blur of hands, chaos, and then silence. No context, no backstory, just pure emotion captured in a moment that was never meant for the world to see. Seconds later, social media ignited like a match dropped in gasoline. Headlines appeared across every platform, all saying the same thing: Tiny Harris arrested after attacking Kandi Burruss. But this isn't just a fight between two celebrities. This is the collapse of a sisterhood built on decades of loyalty, love, and secrets. For years, Tiny and Kandi have been inseparable: music partners, reality TV icons, family, and everything but blood. They shared stages, dreams, and struggles, building empires side by side. So what went wrong? What could drive a woman like Tiny, known for her composure and poise, to the edge of a public breakdown? And why does that video look a little too perfectly timed, too cleanly captured to be a random leak? Fans are split right down the middle. Some call it proof of deep betrayal, others believe it's a setup, a carefully orchestrated trap meant to destroy everything Tiny has built over the years. But this isn't just the story behind the viral clip, because behind the trending hashtags and breaking headlines lies a darker truth, a story that begins long before the cameras ever started rolling. The internet can turn a whisper into a hurricane, and that's exactly what happened the night Tiny Harris's world came crashing down. The clip that sparked it all was barely a minute and a half long, just a shaky phone video recorded from across the room, voices overlapping, someone shouting, a scream cutting through the noise. That's all it took. People online began slowing the footage down frame by frame, analyzing every movement as if they were examining evidence from a crime scene. Within an hour, every gossip page, every trending feed, and every entertainment blog had plastered the same headline across their pages: Tiny Harris arrested after attacking Kandi Burruss. But no one could agree on where the footage came from. Some claimed it was shot by a bystander at an exclusive industry event. Others swore it was leaked from a security camera. But everyone agreed on one thing. The clip showed Tiny lunging toward Kandi, a tangle of bodies trying to pull them apart, and Tiny's face, anguished, furious, and heartbroken all at once. It didn't take long for social media to explode. Twitter threads stretched for miles as fans tried to decode what had happened. Reddit detectives pulled up old interviews, piecing together a timeline. Instagram went wild with before the fallout pictures of the two women smiling side by side. But none of it explained how a friendship that had lasted over a decade could implode so violently and so publicly. Tiny and Kandi's friendship was legendary. They were more than collaborators, they were like sisters. From their early music days and Escape to their success as businesswomen and reality TV stars, they had seen each other through marriages, children, fame, and controversy. When one of them rose, she pulled the other up. They were Atlanta royalty, two women who had managed to thrive in an industry that often tears friendships apart. So when the footage surfaced, fans couldn't believe their eyes. This wasn't the kind of falling out anyone saw coming. But maybe the signs were always there. Small cracks hidden behind smiles and rehearsed interviews, subtle tension that only became obvious in hindsight. People began digging into old clips, catching moments that now looked suspicious, a side eye here, a tight-lipped laugh there. Suddenly, what once looked like harmless banter now seemed like the build-up to something inevitable. Just a week before the altercation, Tiny had promised to reveal receipts during a highly anticipated live stream. Millions of viewers tuned in, expecting bombshell revelations about a long-rumored betrayal and a mysterious tea tape that had been the talk of social media for months. But before those receipts could ever be revealed, the fight happened. Overnight, the live stream was forgotten. Nobody cared about the tea tape anymore because the internet had found something far juicier: a scandal caught on camera. According to police reports, the altercation took place at a private lounge in downtown Atlanta, a spot often used by industry insiders to handle business off-camera. Tiny and Kandi were said to be meeting to talk things out quietly, to find closure after months of tension. But something went terribly wrong. Witnesses described the scene as emotionally charged. There were raised voices, tears, and moments of calm before things erupted. One witness told reporters it felt like watching years of bottled-up frustration finally burst open. By the time police arrived, Kandi was gone. Tiny, shaken and distraught, was placed in handcuffs. Her makeup was smeared, her voice hoarse from shouting. She didn't resist. She just looked exhausted, almost defeated. Outside, paparazzi were already waiting. The flash of cameras lit up the night as Tiny was escorted out, her expression caught somewhere between anger and regret. That image, the broken friend, the fallen star, was plastered everywhere by morning. And by the next sunrise, the internet had already chosen sides. The online war began immediately. 2 hashtags dominated every feed. #TeamTiny and #TeamKandi. Supporters of Tiny defended her fiercely. They said she'd been pushed past her breaking point, betrayed by someone she trusted more than anyone. They called her reaction human, a moment of pain, not violence. Others weren't so forgiving. They accused her of being unstable, jealous, desperate to stay relevant. Every outlet had a source close to the situation. TMZ called it a friendship gone nuclear. The Shade Room labeled it karma. Entertainment blogs churned out headlines by the minute, each version more sensational than the last. Meanwhile, Tiny's team went silent. Her social media pages froze. No new posts, no statements, just silence. For fans, the quiet said more than any press release ever could. Kandi, however, broke her silence in her own way. She posted a single message to her Instagram story. Protect your peace, even from those you love. No names, no details, just that. But everyone knew who she meant. That single sentence reignited the firestorm. Was Kandi playing the victim, or was she genuinely hurt? Was she warning others about something darker happening behind the scenes? Within hours, the internet was buzzing again, picking apart her every word and wondering what she wasn't saying. However, for more than a decade, they'd been inseparable. They'd built their names side by side, 2 powerful women in the entertainment world, bonded not just by fame, but by friendship. But when betrayal arrives, it rarely comes from enemies. It comes from those we love most. And when Tiny realized who might have leaked that private tea tape, something inside her broke in a way that no headline could ever capture. What followed was chaos, raw, emotional, and impossible to contain. Social media caught every second of it. Fans watched as tears and accusations turned into a viral confrontation. But behind the noise, a darker question began to whisper through Atlanta. Who really leaked the tape? Was Kandi exposing a truth that Tiny refused to face? Or was she hiding something far worse? Because in this world of fame, power, and calculated loyalty, one secret has the power to destroy everything. The air in Atlanta that night was thick, the kind of heavy silence that feels like it's warning you before the storm hits. Tiny Harris sat alone in her living room, the faint glow of her phone flickering against tear-stained cheeks. Her fingers trembled as she scrolled through her notifications. Each swipe revealed another headline, another so-called exclusive source, and another reminder that the world now knew something that was never supposed to leave her circle. Leaked tea tape surfaces, the captions read. Tiny blindsided by betrayal. Every post carried the same undertone. Pity mixed with judgment. Curiosity wrapped in cruelty. At first, she didn't believe it. It had to be a hoax. The internet lived for scandals that didn't exist. But then she saw the name attached to it. Kandi Burruss. Her heart dropped. This wasn't some gossip log fishing for clicks. This was someone she trusted more than most. Someone who'd been in her home, shared her secrets, celebrated her wins, comforted her through heartbreaks. And now that same name was being whispered as the source of a leak that could destroy her marriage, her image, and everything she'd built with T.I. Her phone vibrated again. Another notification. Someone had tagged her in a video. Against every instinct, she pressed play. The clip began with shaky footage, filmed in a room filled with laughter that had turned uneasy. Voices overlapped, muffled at first until one broke through the noise. That voice was calm, confident, deliberate. Tiny froze. It was Kandi. There was no mistaking it. The tone, the cadence, even the little pause before her next words. It was all unmistakably her. She deserved to know, Kandi said. I didn't want to be the one, but he wasn't loyal and she needed to hear it from me. For a split second, Tiny couldn't breathe. Her world went silent. Maybe it was fake, maybe AI, maybe someone edited her friend's voice to stir chaos. But deep down, in that instinctual place that knows truth from denial, she felt it. It was real. Her chest tightened, tears blurred her vision, and the weight of betrayal pressed down like a heavy fog. Why would she do this? Why now? Within an hour, the story exploded. Social media transformed into a battlefield of opinions, theories, and memes. Every platform echoed with the same name, Kandi. Every conversation led back to Tiny. People slowed down the clip, analyzed the audio, compared old interviews, and built entire storylines out of seconds of footage. Kandi's telling the truth, some said. She's finally exposing the lies. Others argued she went too far. That's not loyalty, that's betrayal. And through it all, Tiny said nothing. Her silence became a story of its own. Every minute she didn't speak spawned another theory. Some fans claimed she was in on it, that she'd known the tape existed and was pretending to be blindsided for sympathy. Others believed she was broken and humiliated, too shocked to respond. The truth was far simpler. She was grieving the loss of a friendship she'd once thought unshakable. Then her phone rang. The name flashing on the screen was Shakina, her oldest and most loyal friend. Tiny, please tell me you didn't see that mess, Shakina said, her voice trembling through the receiver. I saw it, Tiny whispered. There was a pause long enough to feel heavy. It's bad, ain't it? Shakina firmly said. Tiny couldn't answer. She didn't need to. This silence spoke volumes. She crossed the line this time, Shakina continued. I told you that woman's been jealous for years, always smiling in your face but watching what you've got. Tiny wiped her face, shaking her head. No, Shakina, this ain't jealousy, this is revenge. Outside, the world had already turned her heartbreak into entertainment. Cameras flashed from across the street. Paparazzi staked out her driveway like vultures circling their next headline. Every shadow behind her curtain felt like another set of eyes. But while the world watched her unravel, Tiny wasn't planning a statement. She was replaying Kandi's words over and over again. She deserved to know. Deserved to know what? By sunrise, things went from bad to catastrophic. TMZ had released an extended version of the clip. This time, it wasn't a short voice note. It was a full conversation between Kandi and another person, rumored to be someone close to T.I. The audio was crystal clear. You could hear Kandi say, if she finds out from someone else, it'll be worse. I'm doing her a favor. That single sentence ignited a wildfire. Comment sections turned toxic. People argued fiercely over motives, dissecting the moral coda's friendship as if it were a sport. Some said Kandi had acted out of compassion, trying to protect her friend from a painful truth. Others accused her of chasing relevance, using drama to keep her name alive. Meanwhile, inside Tiny's home, the air was suffocatingly still. She sat surrounded by her team, publicists, managers, and a lawyer, all advising her to remain silent. Don't post, don't react, let us control the narrative. But Tiny wasn't thinking about narratives anymore. She was thinking about loyalty, that fragile bond that once felt unbreakable, now lying in ruins. She looked down at her phone, thumb hovering over the Go Live button. Her manager panicked. Please, Tiny, don't do it. You'll make this worse. But Tiny had already made up her mind. When she finally went live, the world froze to listen. Her voice was steady, calm, but heavy with hurt. She said, I've stayed quiet, out of respect. but don't mistake silence for weakness. Some people love to talk about loyalty until it's tested, and when it is, you see who's real. She didn't have to say Kandi's name. Everyone knew. Within minutes, her live was trending worldwide. YouTubers reacted, Twitter threads erupted, TikToks reenacted every line. One post read, "That wasn't a statement, that was a warning." And somewhere across town, Kandi Burruss was watching, in silence. For Kandi, sleep was out of question. Her phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Calls from producers, friends, and PR reps, all begging her to go dark. But she couldn't. She kept replaying Tiny's live, her own reflection staring back in the phone's glass. The comments were brutal. Snake, fake friend, clout chaser. The internet had already decided who she was. And once the internet makes up its mind, it rarely forgives. But here's the truth Kandi never said publicly. She hadn't leaked the tape. She had known about it, yes, but she wasn't the one who hit upload. The night before the scandal broke, she had received a message from an old contact, a producer who used to work with T.I. The text was short, almost cryptic. "It's coming out. You should tell her first." Kandi sat staring at that message for nearly an hour. She debated calling Tiny immediately, but it was late. She didn't want to alarm her, so she made a decision she thought was right. She tried to control the story before it controlled them. That's why she went live. It wasn't meant to expose. It was meant to prepare. But somehow that live, the one she thought would soften the blow, became the spark that burned everything down. Now, as she watched the backlash unfold, guilt sat like a weight on her chest. She hadn't been the leaker, but she had been the messenger. And sometimes, the messenger pays the highest price. Across town, Tiny was pacing the floor, her mind spiraling between rage and confusion. If Kandi didn't leap it, she said to Shekinah, then who did? Shekinah hesitated. "There's always somebody behind the curtain, baby. Always." Tiny stopped mid-step. Her voice cracked as she asked, "You think T.I. knew?" Shekinah didn't answer. She didn't have to. The silence said enough. Hours later, the internet found something new to feast on: screenshots. A blurry set of text messages appeared on a gossip forum, allegedly between T.I. and an unknown account. The messages were brief, but they told a story that changed everything. "I told her before you did. She deserved the truth." The timestamp? 2 hours before Kandi's live. Instantly, social media erupted again. If those texts were real, that meant T.I. knew the tape was going public, and maybe even used Kandi as a shield to take the blame. "He's been playing both sides," one fan tweeted. "He let his friend fall on the sword." The narrative shifted once more. Now it wasn't just Tiny and Kandi. T.I.'s name was dragged into the fire, and Atlanta was buzzing with questions. When there's no clarity, the internet fills in the blanks, and it didn't take long for theories to take over. Old clips from interviews resurfaced, showing subtle jabs and awkward laughs. Fans slowed down moments from reality shows, reading tension into every sideways glance. Some said Kandi had always been jealous of Tiny's influence. Others claimed Tiny had crossed the line behind the scenes. A few even believed the fight was staged for publicity, until the police report surfaced, confirming the altercation was very real. But one rumor stood out from the rest, spreading faster than all others combined: that Tiny had confronted Kandi about a new piece of evidence, something even more damaging than the infamous T-tape. According to whispers, it was a message, maybe a recording, that could ruin reputations and end careers. No one knows for sure, but if that rumor was true, it might explain why things got so heated so fast. People close to both women claimed the meeting wasn't meant to go this way. Tiny had wanted closure, not conflict. She'd been carrying months of humiliation, betrayal, and the weight of public speculation. She just wanted peace. But closure is a tricky thing, because when trust has already been shattered, even an apology can sound like an insult. One eyewitness later told a blogger that the argument started calm, almost civil. The two women sat across from each other, voices low. But then, Kandi said something. No one knows what. Tiny froze. her hands trembling. "You think this is funny?" she said. That was the moment everything changed. The next few seconds were chaos. A drink spilled, a chair fell, people shouted for security, and then came the sound that would echo across the internet, a scream, sharp and raw, cutting through the noise before the camera cut out. The video that went viral didn't capture the buildup or the aftermath, just the explosion, just the moment when years of friendship, loyalty, and pain came crashing down in front of strangers. That's how it happens in the age of social media. One mistake, one moment of human emotion, and the entire world decides who you are. Overnight, Tiny Harris became the villain in some eyes, the victim in others, and viral content to everyone else. Kandi Burruss, meanwhile, was painted as the betrayed friend, calm, composed, maybe even calculated. But even she wasn't safe from speculation. Some accused her of pushing Tiny to the edge on purpose. Others wondered if she was the one who leaked the footage in the first place. As the days went by, the frenzy only grew. Talk shows debated it, podcasts dissected it, and YouTube channels turned the scandal into a case study on friendship, fame, and betrayal. Every detail became a clue. Every silence became suspicious. But through it all, one question lingered. Who leaked that video? And why? Because nothing about it felt accidental. The timing was too precise, the framing too deliberate. Someone had captured that moment and released it to the world knowing exactly what it would do and to whom. Somewhere behind the noise, someone was watching it all unfold, satisfied that their plan had worked. It's easy to forget that behind the gossip and headlines, these are real people, friends who once trusted each other with everything. Tiny Harris isn't just a name in a headline. She's a mother, a wife, an artist who spent decades in the spotlight. Kandi Burruss isn't just a former friend turned rival. She's an entrepreneur, a performer, and a woman who's fought her own battles with fame. Both have been through the ups and downs of public life. Both have endured scrutiny most people couldn't imagine. And yet, somehow, it was a 90-second video, just a blur of chaos and emotion that changed everything. Maybe it wasn't just about betrayal or secrets. Maybe it was about years of pressure, of unspoken resentment, of friendship twisted by fame. Because in Hollywood, and especially in Atlanta's entertainment circle, loyalty and ambition often walk a dangerous line. Today, the video has been watched millions of times, analyzed from every angle. But the truth? Still unclear. The police report offers facts, but not feelings. Social media offers opinions, but not answers. Tiny Harris remains quiet, her team saying little beyond the basics. Kandi continues her work, her public image seemingly untouched. But between them lies an unspoken war, one that may never be repaired. Because that's the thing about viral moments. They fade from the feed, but not from the people involved. Long after the internet moves on to the next scandal, the damage remains. In a world where privacy is currency and reputation is everything, one 90-second video was all it took to destroy years of trust, love, and history. Tiny Harris, villain, victim, or something in between? Kandi Burruss, betrayed friend, or silent mastermind? We may never know the full truth, but one thing's certain. Someone out there hit upload, watched the chaos unfold, and smiled as the world took the bait. The footage may have ended after 90 seconds, but the fallout? It's only just begun.